You know, Carlos King is a whole vibe, and I feel that I am a raindrop. I love that man. He's been a part of reality TV for years. He used to be, I believe, a showrunner or also an executive producer for The Real Housewives of Atlanta early on. The first, well, I think the first couple of seasons. You know what? I need to do my research on him as far as how long he was with Bravo. But anyways, he has extensive background on reality TV and the girls. Um, he also has his two franchises, or is it? I think he has the Bell Collective, um, Huntsville, DC. Um, Follow Carlos King and his reality shows. Okay, I'm having a senior moment. I need to do better. I'm usually better at knowing, who am I fooling? Sometimes I just don't. Well, it's Friday, okay? This was a very interesting week. So I will be having my Friday Bible reading after this video. But, anyways, Carlos King did an interview with Angela Oakley. She is wife to, um, oh my gosh, Charles Oakley. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have did videos. I'm really having a menopause moment, okay? Anyways, Charles Oakley. I think I've done a video about Angela Oakley prior to this. Um, Fun fact, when I was going to Virginia Union University in Richmond, Virginia, which I believe that is Charles Oakley's alma mater when he was playing basketball at that university, I was kind of sitting next to him. He knew one of my friends, and we were just all talking, um, in the quad area. He was just visiting because I think he had already graduated, or probably was drafted to the NBA at the time. It was like early '90s. So, anyways, so so overall, back then, a really nice guy. We didn't know each other personally, but just in passing, and him being in that little sitting area where I was. Um, so Angela, she is a new peach holder of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They just got through um, recording. They just got through recording uh, their reunion, and their reunion dresses is supposed to reflect their girls' trip to Grenada, and it's a beautiful like gold, mustard yellow mixture. I just saw pictures of it. Can't wait to see it. Wish that Kenya Moore was there and Britt Eady so they can talk about what really happened. Um, so, anyways, but Britt is not going to be there. But I really love Carlos King's the way he interviews is just all the questions that you want to ask your favorite reality host or celebrity. He does it. He's like the male Barbara Walters, because I love Barbara. Um, Anyways, I love me some Oprah, and the list goes on of people that know how to interview. So I have to say, when he asked her about Charles, because the fans want to know, and this is in my verbiage, does he like you? because it's like it just seems like you know he's always disgruntled or he's not happy to see her. The chemistry is not chemistry, and it could be because this is his first time being on um with the cameras on. He seems like maybe perhaps a private person. I don't know, but I just have to say, and she said, she 10 toes down, my husband loves me. He really loves me. It looks like he doesn't, but he really does. And she talked about they've had infidelity in the past. Who hasn't? um you know I believe that if you're married to a really good person, and that person makes a mistake, you can either work with it or you don't, but they chose to stay in it, and that's their true testament to their marriage. Shout out to Angela. Her mother passed away recently, so my thoughts and prayers goes out to you. A person that is caregiving, you know, daily for their mom, and teleworking. Um, that is my worst fear. So I am thinking about you, Angela. I think you are a brilliant addition to Real Housewives of Atlanta, and thinking about your family too and your sisters. But I do want to read from Lipstick Alley. Um, Let me see here. It says Angela Oakley interview with Carlos King offered, um, and she was also offered a Real Housewives of Atlanta offer to be on there years ago. Um, she does talk about Britt's legal matter, and if she forgives Portia. You know, very classy lady. Um, she doesn't seem to hold grudges. Most Taurus people don't really. They're very forgiving, very loving people. My husband's a Taurus. And sometimes they can be off the hook too. Okay. Um, she actually invited Carlos to her home for the interview. They play a little basketball. He gives her a reality with the King jersey. Um, she, of course, has her fan, because that's her little, as a part of you. If you watch this season, you can see her always carrying her fan. And I believe that's why people didn't believe that she was 44 years old, because she's carrying around this fan. But people understand that, excuse me, you can get perimenopause, early in your 30s, 40s. And then I don't even think she said that she even had that. It's just that she gets hot internally. And I was like that even before my menopause situation. I've always been hot natured. Like I always have to have the window, or, the window open year round, even during the winter time. Um, let's see here. Um, she says that Phaedra needs to find a man, a friend, or a mirror, because she looks her age. Because Phaedra, she's back this season, and she tried to come for Angela, like she always tries to come for everybody, because she thinks that she is God's gift to the world. You know how Phaedra is. She has her funny ways, but sometimes, like, girl, you're not the, all that. I mean, you do have a beautiful body, but girl, you're not the be all. Um, Whatever her age is, they need to add a tax. That's what Angela said. She looks 10 years older than Angela. Um, she says that. Oh, so Carlos was like, "Can we just put an end to all this?" And um, can you bring out a passport? Let's let everybody know that your age is what you're saying it is. So Carlos saw, her passport, and it does show that she was, I think, 43 or 44. No, she's 44. Yes. Um, and it could be her mannerisms. That's what they were talking about. She also never wore makeup before, so experimenting with that and the wigs aged her. Her wigs that she wore this season, people talked about that. People are so nitpicky. All in all, my opinion, I think Angela is beautiful. Some people came for her cosmetic nose, called her Latoya Jackson. I think Shamia even said, just beat it. I said, girl, that now you tried it using a lyric to Michael Jackson's song. She mentioned that she was a fan of the show and said she stopped watching when Carlos left. She related more with the OG era, and those ladies felt more authentic. And she's talking about the OGs like Nene, Sheree Whitfield, um, what's another one? Kim Zolciak. And she also says she feels like her and Kim would be good friends. They're both Taurus females. Candy, who's also a Taurus. Um, so and she likes Kenya. So, yeah, she really likes that era. I'm sure she would have loved Lisa Wu. I love Lisa. Um, there's Miss Snow. I can't think of her first name right now. Um, she also said they tried to cast her and admits um, he got the timeline wrong. He had said season 3, but it was more season 6. Her daughter's friend wanted her on and helped her get all the way up to an executive in casting, and the time wasn't right. Hmm. Which was in 2016. And Carlos also said she is the reason for the season. She reminds him of the girls that can read without raising her voice. So true, because when she would clap back at someone trying her, it was always so classy in a way that it wasn't like she was trying to raise her voice and act like she was going to pull somebody's wig. And one of the OGs did that though. I'm just saying. um, she knows Nene, and they were a part of Nene's organization, Ladies of Success. She never met Kim or Sheree. She did say now that Sheree and her husband, okay, Charles, used to be a item. They were in a relationship. And she said that she liked Sheree because Sheree never tried to linger, be a hangers on after the relationship was over. She was respectful. And she says that she would actually love to film with Sheree. Okay, so I thought that was really like, wow, who would want to, hang out with their uh, ex's ex girlfriend? I mean, their husband's ex girlfriend. Sorry about that. Um, and they haven't ran into each other. She talked about a full transparency of, you know, buying real estate and not knowing, how to keep it up and how to invest and when not to invest. Um, Carlos appreciates her transparency and doesn't want her to feel ashamed because she talked about the financial hardship it took when um, some of the properties that she bought, she didn't make a profit. Um, and you'll find when people start out, wanting to do a business, there's not always a high success rate at the beginning. It's trial and error when you're trying to start a business, whether it's in real estate or restaurant, whatever it may be, you're going to have some hiccups along the road. That's what I hear. Um, she says she's not ashamed. And she says, um, she says she got advice from people she shouldn't have trusted. And there's scammers in this world. If they know that you're new to the game of, any type of business, and people will try to use that to their advantage, you know. Um, and I love her, how I have Caspi cake catchers. Her fans, they call her the fan. She says, they are my fangellas. I love that. Again, and Carlos also addresses Charles not showing her the love that she shows him. And that was shown throughout the I hate to say it, it was shown that during the season. Um, Husbands don't get paid, and CK says that Carlos King says that that's why some wives give them 10%. Angela says first she needs to get paid. So I guess she didn't get paid this season. Charles is one of the few husbands that she knows that wherever he gets paid, when he always gets, whoever wrote this horribly, when he shows up on camera, he gets paid for everything. He's been a celebrity, for many years. So he's like, an appearance, you're gonna pay me. Um, she admits that some of the stuff she does is for the cameras because she knows her husband. Um, had she done this 2017, she'd have believed he didn't love her, but she knows he loves her now. So what she's saying, around that time, 2016, 2017, is when they were struggling in their relationship. But they have done the work. She specified that in the interview. They've done the work and they are so much better. So much better. She had believed that he didn't love her, but she knows he loves her now. There's nothing he does in present day um, that would make her think otherwise. And a lot of scenes, he is the only man um, thinking, why am I here? But he truly shows up to support her. He doesn't get that credit. And we don't get a chance to see that either. We don't. Um, yeah. Also, one thing I wanted to talk about, um, they talk about the Porsche incident. If you watched when they went to on a trip, and she went to bed early, but actually she didn't fully go to bed because she heard Portia brag about I would sleep with Charles. I guess she was allegedly kidding around. So she was mad because of the disrespect that Portia did to her. It didn't trigger any past trauma. No. She says it's not that type of girl you can I'm not that type of girl you can play with. It wasn't that she was feeling insecure within her marriage. It's just that, wait a minute, there, first of all, there's married women while she's saying this, and they didn't even check her. That bothered her. But she's like, wait a minute, um we're in this friend group and you're saying that you would sleep with my husband. Yeah. um she says she's not that type of girl you can play with, and people didn't see that disrespect aimed at her. It wasn't the fact because she thought, oh, I'm mad at her because she can take my husband. She's, oh, absolutely not. She's like, I trust my husband. I trust our marriage. I just don't like the fact that you're saying this, and it's disrespectful to me as the wife. Um, Carlos asked her, "Do you like Portia?" She said, um, "I." She doesn't like her character. but I do like her. And then Carlos, so messy. Would you invite Portia to your home? And she says for her to invite anyone to her home, they have to have a relationship, meaning we got to be friends, okay? And there's work that needs to be done. I don't blame her. I wouldn't invite child, but yeah. But anyways, this was a good interview. Shout out to Carlos. Check it out on YouTube, or go to his page, Carlos King. Until next time, bye. Subscribe and click that bell.